Yes. What's happening, everybody? It is Friday afternoon here. We had the weigh-ins for UFC Singapore late last night, and early this morning, we're going to be kicking off 4 o'clock a.m. Central Time to watch these fights in Singapore, kicking off the card with Jarno Aarons versus Sungwoo Choi. We're going to find out, who the real American mixed martial arts fans here, the real American UFC fans are here, because if you're getting up at 4 a.m. to watch Sungwoo Choi versus Jarno Aarons, my hat goes off to you. You are indeed one of the real ones. And then we've got Na Liang fighting right after that. So I know I'm going to want to be up for that one as well. But thank you for checking in with me today. I'm sick. I've got COVID. So if you're hearing, not your usual Uncle Weezy here, the dulcet tones that you're used to hearing, now you're hearing the stuffed up tones of your Uncle Weezy with COVID. So thank you for checking in with me today. Let's get this 4-leg parlay out there for you guys. We're going to start with leg 1 here, and it is going to be the under 2.5 rounds in the Na Liang versus JJ Aldrich fight. If you guys have ever seen Na Liang fight, I mean, this is a pretty easy bet to make. She has only been to a decision once in her career, and that is in 25 fights. So, about 4% of a big sample size of fights have went to decision for Na Liang. She empties the gas tank in the first round. She goes all out. I don't know how she hasn't figured out how to pace herself yet or how to win minutes, but it's just not part of her game. JJ Aldrich, on the other hand, couldn't finish a glass of water. She's not a finisher, but I actually believe that JJ Aldrich will become a finisher in this fight because she's going to be fighting a completely gassed opponent. This gives her 7.5 minutes to finish the fight after round 1. And I feel that's the safest way to play this one. It's a wide line. Yes, -200 is a very wide line for this fight, for any women's flyweight fight to finish under 2.5 rounds. But we know that one of the combatants in this fight is somebody that completely empties the tank and is sometimes completely gassed out 3 minutes into a fight. I even think that JJ Aldrich can finish Na Liang here, and I think that there's a chance that Na could actually get a first-round finish herself. That's the way that she wins fights. She's fighting at home. She's going to be in her part of the globe here, while JJ Aldrich is going to be flying, 12 hours, 12 time zones away to take this fight. So I do believe that this one goes under 2.5 rounds at a very high clip. So let's share my screen with you guys here. And we're going to go to DraftKings Sportsbook, and we're going to X out all of these here. And let's log out. All right, and then we can go to these fights, and we're going to go to the fight lines. Na Liang versus JJ Aldrich under 2.5 rounds is -200. That's going to be leg 1 of the parlay. Leg 2 is going to be the under 2.5 rounds in the Toshiomi Kazama versus Garrett Armfield fight. That is currently sitting at -145 on DraftKings Sportsbook. If we look at the prop template for this one, this is a striker versus grappler matchup here, in that, Armfield's a well-rounded fighter, but he does his best work when he's on the feet, in the pocket at boxing range. He throws with a lot of power, and he knocks dudes out. If we look at these guys here for the under 2.5 rounds at -145, it's overpriced by about 16%. But we can see that 9 of 12 fights for Kazama that have been scheduled for 3 rounds outside the UFC finished under 2.5 rounds. And it's the same thing for Armfield. It's about 6 and 9. So 71% of their fights have finished under 2.5 rounds. And both of their UFC fights have finished under 2.5 rounds. So we're talking about 17 out of 23 of their combined fights are finishing under 2.5 rounds when you include the UFC and outside the UFC. And then once again, I'm seeing a fight where if this one stays on the feet, I see Armfield getting a knockout. And if it goes to the ground, I see Kazama potentially getting a submission. So I do like Kazama to win this fight. I have a 1-unit bet on him at +150. I like the fact that he's going to be fighting near home. I like the fact that Garrett Armfield has not shown very good takedown defense or a get-up game on the regional scene, and that Kazama is a guy who does tend to favor position over submission on the ground. I think he can win minutes there, and I also think that he could get to Armfield's back and sub him. So I like the under 2.5 rounds at minus 145 for this fight, and that is going to be leg number 2. So we're going to go back over here to DraftKings, and we're going to go to the alternative total rounds under the fight lines tab. And we're going to scroll down to Kazama versus Armfield, the under 2.5 rounds at minus 145. That is the second leg of the parlay. Leg 3 of the parlay is going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Waldo Cortez-Acosta to shave the ass of Lucas Bresky here. Bresky is a volume puncher with bad cardio. Waldo Cortez-Acosta is a volume puncher with good cardio and way more power than what Lucas has. I don't see Lucas having success really in any areas of the fight here. And I think that Waldo is going to make this one look pretty easy here. He's the better boxer. He's got the much better cardio. And his takedown defense and get-up game is not bad at all. If you go and you watch him in LFA when he won the LFA belt against a stud heavyweight, who I think we'll be seeing next week on Dana White's Contender Series, and Thomas Peterson. This guy Peterson has been like a minus 1,000 favorite in a couple of fights recently. He is a very talented heavyweight. You saw Cortez-Acosta, not only get taken down, but keep getting back up and wear on Peterson. And then he wound up knocking him out at the end of the third round of that fight. Bresky is not nearly as good of a wrestler as Thomas Peterson is. So I don't really see a path for Bresky in the wrestling or grappling here. And on the feet, I think he might throw a little more volume, but I think it's going to be Waldo who's more accurate and who's going to be landing the bigger shots here. And as the fight goes on, you're going to see Bresky start to fade, and you won't see that out of Waldo Cortez-Acosta. So definitely like Cortez-Acosta to shave some ass here. The plot, no power at minus 218. I think he takes care of business here and finishes this fight late and gets an easy win here, which takes this parlay of ours up to plus 269, and then we're going to go with a juicy fourth leg here. It's going to be the over 2.5 rounds in the main event, Holloway versus Zombie at minus 245. So for this fight, if we look at my prop template here, and we look at the over 2.5 rounds right here, you could see that Max Holloway has had 13 fights scheduled for 5 rounds in the UFC, and 12 of those 13 fights have went over 2.5 rounds. For Zombie, he's had 8 fights. So we've got a 21 fight sample size of 5-round fights between these two guys. 5 of Zombie's 8 fights have went over 2.5 rounds, and that's an 81% total of 21 of their 21 fights that have went over 2.5 rounds. And here we're looking at a 71% implied probability on the line. But the interesting thing is that for Zombie here, 5 of his fights have went over 2.5 rounds. The ones that didn't were all first round finishes. Zombie finishing his opponent. So I don't worry about Max Holloway getting finished by anybody. I mean, like, this guy is the most durable guy maybe in the entire UFC. So just because Zombie has a couple of early finishes, nobody finishes Max Holloway. And Max Holloway takes his time. I mean, he's a guy who's a volume puncher. He does attritional work. He's not a one-punch, catch you right on the chin and sleep you type of fighter. So I think that this number here at 81% doesn't even reflect what I think the true probability is that this fight goes over 2.5 rounds, which might be closer to 85 or 86% because of the fact that, Zombie is not going to finish anybody, and especially Max Holloway. It's just not going to happen. Max Holloway is too durable. So I love this fight to cruise over 2.5 rounds here. So we're going to go to the alternative total rounds in the on the top row here. We're going to go to 2.5 rounds for Max Holloway versus Chan Sung Jung, and we're going to get that over 2.5 rounds. That brings this parlay up to plus 420 on DraftKings Sportsbook. That's the magic number right there, ladies and gentlemen. So we got to feel like this one cashes. This is not the widest line. This is one of the shorter parlays that I've ever given you, but we haven't cashed one here in a minute. I'm looking to cash this one. I love all 4 of these legs to cash. And I think that we got some decent value on some of these. I think the Cortez-Acosta line should be closer to minus 300 here. I feel like the under 2.5 rounds is fairly priced here. I just think a Nao Liang fight goes over 2.5 rounds once in a blue moon. And then Kazama Armfield, I think, is a great stylistic matchup for violence here. And I love this over 2.5 rounds at minus 245. So plus 420. I'm going to throw a half unit on this. Hopefully you guys join me, and then we all cash this one, make some money here. Let's see what's going on with you guys in the chat right now. We got Victor De Jesus in the room saying, oh, yes, what's up, Weezy in chat? Let's cash big this week. What is up, Vic? Good to see you in here. I hope that your Dominican brother, Waldo Cortez-Acosta, gets the job done and makes me look like a genius for picking him for the ass shaving of the week. We got my guy Brian in the room saying, oi, what is happening, Brian? We got Brendan Stelly in the room saying, Weezus, what's up, Brendan? Thank you for joining us here. We got D'Amato's scorecard, always one of the best scorecards, and then a picture of Hasbullah in cornrows. That is a wild one. That's a wild name. That is a wild picture. Saying he got Caceres by sub at plus 950. Wow. I think those odds are insane too, dude. I think that's a really great bet. I think that's kind of how Caceres gets it done. If Giga gets a little bit out over his toes, throwing strikes, maybe Caceres gets to his back and sinks in a rear naked choke like he did against Sung Woo Choi. Caceres sub at plus 950. Let me see where DraftKings has Caceres sub. It couldn't be even close to that, right? No way it's plus 950. Plus 800. That's still really good. And let's see where they have it here. Chikadze Caceres. Caceres by submission plus 600. Yeah, I mean, plus 950 is a fantastic line. I love that one, dude. Aaron Little saying plus 420 is a good omen. It's hitting. I agree with you, man. I mean, I think that this is, when I saw it was plus 420, I'm like, that's not nearly as wide. I usually like it to be at least plus 550, plus 600. But for plus 420, I just want to hit this one, man. We gotta get out of the dry spell that we're in and hit this one. TH saying, what up, Weezy? Are you ready for 4 a.m.? I think so, man. I got COVID right now, so I think I'm going to drug up real good around like 8, 9 p.m., and then maybe try to get to bed way earlier than normal, and then that alarm is going to be set. I'm going to get up. I'm going to watch these fights. I'm looking forward to it. Victor saying, hey, Weezy, I agree that Waldo dominates this fight, but I really don't see him getting a finish in the first 2 rounds at all. If you play Waldo to win round 3 decision, that line is plus 110. Yeah, that would be a good way to fatten up the parlay, but I actually do worry about him finishing him and maybe even finishing him early. I just don't think that this guy Bresky is UFC level. So I worry about Waldo actually showing out because this is the easiest opponent he's had. So even a guy like Chase Sherman, right? I mean, you go back and you watch that fight. I had the fight goes to decision for that fight. Waldo beat 7 shades of shit out of that dude. He really did. And if Chase wasn't ridiculously durable, that fight would have finished either late in the second round or in the third round. So, but I agree with Victor here. If you guys want something better than plus 420, actually something that's going to probably get you here. Let's see if we were to do that. Now, I'm keeping mine at plus 420 because I'm worried that Waldo shaves this dude's ass. But if we go to fight props, that is not it. Fight parlays, winner in group of rounds. Waldo Cortez-Acosta, round 3 or decision. That brings it up to plus 650. So if you guys want to make this a juicier parlay, you could take out Waldo's money line and put him to win round 3 or decision at plus 110 and fatten this thing up from plus 420 to plus 650. So that's a good way to look at it. But I'm personally gonna stick with the much shorter version of this. I don't want to get greedy this week. Because I think that Cortez-Acosta is way better than this guy. But that's a great idea, Vic. I appreciate that, man. Mark saying, what's up, Weezy? You watching this live? I'm going to do my best, Mark. I'm going to do my best to wake up And because I'm sick, I should be able to maybe get to bed earlier than normal. Vic saying that'd make a huge difference on this parlay. Yes, it would. Absolutely, dude. Couple hundred extra. Grateful dude in the room. What's up, man? Good to see you hanging out in here, saying good luck this weekend. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for hanging out. We got D'Amato's scorecard that was on FanDuel a couple days ago. Okay, yeah, FanDuel always has good props, the best props, dude. Them and Bet Rivers will have the fattest props for sure. Plus 959 was 950. Yeah, that's really good, dude, man. That's crazy. Where's Waldo? In the winners section, baby. Oh, that's right, man. In the winners section. He's going to get it, man, for sure. 2 a.m. crew for SD Crusader. That must mean San Diego because, yeah, you guys are getting up at 2 a.m. to watch it. For me, it's 4. For my East Coast people, it's 5 a.m. Mountain time zone, 3 a.m. It's going to be the real ones that are up, man. Fernie Garcia prop 1 to 3 round KO for plus 2,800 to plus 4,800 possible outcome. Yeah, dude. So Fernie's a nice little counter striker. And if Nakamura gets a little bit sloppy or falls in love with his hands, Fernie might be live to get a little knockout here. I saw that he was round 1 knockout at plus 3,000 on Bet Online earlier in the week, and I actually thought about laying that for like a tenth of a unit or something, a real small sprinkle. But yeah, man, if Nakamura doesn't wrestle, he's going to make this fight a lot closer than it needs to be. We got, oh, yes, from EQ. What's up, dude? We got respect to you guys on the West Coast that are waking up at 2 a.m. 5 a.m. is hard enough for Mark. We got Pokemon Trainer in the room saying Tafa bros, Tafa season. I think Tafa wins this fight. He was my number 2 choice for the ass shaving of the week this week. I just worry about Porter getting him down and getting on top because he does good work when he's there. Pokemon Trainer saying 5 a.m. crunked up. Shout out to Wawa. Yeah, man, I'm going to have to get my coffee ready tomorrow. I haven't been drinking coffee the last couple of days because I've been sick, but I know I'm going to have to probably get a big mug that I'm going to make here in the morning. We got Mark saying, Weezy, Bet365 has Fernie Garcia over 2.5 significant strikes in round 1 at minus 120. Do you think this is a good play? Yeah, I think it's a very small percentage of the time that you see somebody landing less than 3 strikes in one round. I think that's a good play for sure. Victor saying best of luck tomorrow, everyone. Absolutely, you too, brother. Good to see you. We got Mr. 25 saying, Weezy, do you think Max could have a bad performance and lose with everything that's happening in Hawaii? Yeah, man, I think it's possible. But at the same time, it's Max Holloway. You know, he's such a professional. He's had other things going on in his life, you know, other than what's going on right now in Hawaii. These guys are professionals. They come to fight. I think he'll be all right. You know, it's Zombie's last fight. You know, this is the fight that Zombie wanted. We'll see if it winds up working okay for him here. But I think Max gets the job done. Stylistically, I think you have to kind of look for narrative reasons like that to think that he's not going to win this fight. And Mark Frost saying 10 a.m. card starts for me, Unc. That's not bad from England there. Good stuff, man. That's a very doable wake-up time. D'Amato's scorecard saying Porter by decision plus 600. He's not the greatest finisher, and he can get – and, yeah, that's not a bad look at all for D'Amato's scorecard there. Plus 600. If it does go to decision, you know, I think there's a good chance if Porter does get takedowns in every round that he could get the win. Mark saying, good luck, Weezy. Love seeing you on Pub Sports Radio and Stat Diggers. I appreciate you, man. Stat Diggers will be coming up this Sunday in Pub Sports Radio. And we got Low T City Ortega. Ring a ding ding, you guys, with the $2.79 donation. 5 units on Tafa. He says easy. As long as Porter doesn't get those takedowns, I think he's going to knock him out, dude. And I hope that you hit that bet, brother. That would be a real good one. Thank you so much for the donation, man. And we got EQ saying, Weezy, Max Holloway is a good favorite, but minus 800. Oh, yeah, dude. Minus 800 is crazy. I'm not touching that fight. I do love that over 2.5 rounds, though. That's the way I played it. And I also tracked the parlay. If you're on my Patreon, you saw this in the Discord already. Track the parlay for the over 2.5 rounds for Holloway and the Waldo Cortez-Acosta money line, a 2-leg parlay plus 105 for 1.5 units. And Tafa almost KO'd Usman and kept getting up. Parker Porter can't handle the smoke, baby. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Tafa's going to get the job done, you guys. All right, time for me to get back to bed, take some more cold meds here, and kick this COVID's ass. I appreciate all you guys hanging out. Hit that thumbs up on your way out, please, for your Uncle Weezy. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any of the great content that's going on in this channel. And please consider joining the Patreon, where you get access to all these stats, where you can look at the prop templates. You can look at the advanced stats, where you have all the matchup stats. And we're 3 weeks ahead. You know, we've already got the UFC Paris stats out here for Manfiro versus Rose Namajunas, Gane versus Spivak. We got Gomez versus Almeida, Saint Denis versus Thiago Moises. Great fights. So please consider supporting my work, joining the Patreon. I appreciate all you guys, though. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Singapore. Good luck to those of you who are waking up early. And if you're in that part of the world, enjoy watching a fight card for once at a decent hour. To everybody in Australia and New Zealand and in the Far East, love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to go relax a little bit and try to get healthy for tomorrow's fights. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy the weekend, and we will talk to you on Sunday on Pub Sports Radio for Stat Diggers for UFC Paris with my guy, DFS by the Numbers, and I will do that show. So talk to you guys soon. Have a great day and enjoy the fights.